Guillaume, thanks very much for joining us this morning. Just from your perspective, I suppose, what are you seeing in the market at the moment? What are the kind of current trends that you're picking up on?
So I would say the spot situation is obviously everyone is really careful and looking at, what have the deals that are still active in the market as of now. The deals obviously that have not passed, I would say, the virus test and potentially some repricing. But I would say, whatever strategy you have as of now is there's a lot of not passivity, but people are really careful and waiting, I would say, for the proper moment to get into the action. The only good thing that I would say this virus and lockdown situation has brought on the market is we're going back to a classification of risk. So, risk is getting a reward. And I'm sure, we all remember the early days of 2020 and the last days of 2019, where basically for, I would say, multiple risk opportunities, such as, let's say, forward purchase in a suburban part of Paris region, or even in the regional areas of France, you would have core investors looking at it, where usually more value-add money was adapting to that kind of strategy. So I would say, as of now, there's fewer opportunities for sure, but they're more adapted to the different kind of strategies. And in addition to that, the financing has also adapted to the new situation. So it's not so easy to get fresh loans at low margin. Ratio levels are now way below that they used to be. So you have to put more equity and less financing. Obviously, the margins have gone up, and the construction costs have gone up. So I would say usually in the short term, but I would expect those costs to be still at a higher level than what we've experienced before. So additioning all of that, obviously, I don't suspect any, I would say, defensive or long-term investors still to fight in the value-add opportunistic arena. So maybe more room for the value-add players.
And in terms of some of the sort of more general trends, Guillaume, looking at office and those kinds of, there's a lot of discussion at the moment in the market around the influence of the virus on these different sectors. How do you see that?
Obviously, virus as the lockdown has had a strong impact on retail and hotel, and I think we're going to see a more and more critical situation in that segment of investment. So I would imagine, the support from the banks, from the government, or from public bodies will obviously stop, anytime soon, and we'll see some portfolios of hotel, portfolio of retails, and obviously there will be some cherry picking to be done because not all of that is positive, and a lot of that situation we're suffering even before the lockdown, and the lockdown is just the coup de grace on those situations. But getting back, maybe the question was more in the office space and all this work from home or remote working situation. It's to myself, it's a little bit like the retailers or the retail industry investors were comparing the, I would say, physical and digital retail. I think this is complementary. In France, we're a really Latin situation, so I would say that we suppose that the people are not disciplined. Sometimes they are not disciplined, but sometimes they are. And I would say working from home has not been really the trend. So obviously we're kind of far behind if you compare it to the UK, to Holland, for example. But, I would assume that there will be a balance, exactly like digital retail and physical retail are going to meet somewhere. And I think it's complementary. Obviously, it will have a light impact on the take-up. But I don't see any kind of office apocalypse in terms of leasing. It will be more selective. And we'll have to adapt to that. But obviously, lockdown will slightly influence some of the trends we know as of now, and will, I would say, accelerate the decrease of the trends that were in a artificial or really bad situation just before the lockdown situation.
Great. Thanks very much. Always a pleasure to catch up, Guillaume.
Thank you.